Hello, welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host Andre C. Over here is my co-host Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I am doing great, Andre. We have had a crazy start to this episode already. We're having a great end to the week here. But you know what? We got to watch some very interesting wrestling coming out of NJPW this week. A lot of stuff and interesting stuff coming off the controversy of Kaito and Okada last week. But
Yeah,
before we get into that, Andre, how are you doing
I'm
this week?
doing absolutely phenomenal. Again, early morning recording for us because I
Mhm.
got to work this afternoon, so we can do a morning
Chicago.
recording for once. So yeah, but I'm doing well. I've gotten to watch some great wrestling here. I'm starting to catch up on Stardom. I got Stardom to watch for an episode next week, and yeah, we got a lot of great content coming out for you. But like the show we're on, we're gonna be talking New Japan, and we're gonna talk the road to New Beginning
Mhm.
Sapporo events.
Mhm.
And there is actually 6 or 7 events, but only 2 are being televised. I found that out from speaking to Kevin Kelly on Twitter because I was noticing shows weren't being posted, and I messaged him like, "Hey, what's going on with these later January ones?" He's like, "Oh, these are just house shows," and I'm like, "Oh, awesome! I only have to record. I only have to review 2 shows now."
Good old Kevin Kelly, always being an excellent source of information for us.
He very much is, and the next big show will be coming out the next show Saturday, February 4th. It's gonna be a huge show because 4th and 5th, there's some huge
Mhm.
ones. I've got the card. We'll go quickly over that at the end, but
Mhm.
we are gonna get into this. But before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor, Rogue Energy. Scan the QR code down in the bottom right hand corner. You can get 10% off your order using the code OLEPODS at rogueenergy.com. Thank you to Rogue Energy. You can get a nice little shaker like this.
Hikawa.
My Mina Shaker Kawa, as I like to call it. So, but we are going to get into the New Japan. We're too small. There, now we're bigger, and we are on the road
I'm
to New
already small,
Beginning.
Andre. Don't make me smaller.
We're on the road to New Beginning Sapporo events here. So we are going to kick it off. The first night, January 24th, uh, was Great Okan, Ryohei Oiwa. It was a great wrestling from these two at the start. Like it was
Mhm.
very a technical. Like Oiwa was matching Khan in the wrestling ability, which was very smart. Um,
Mhm.
there was a great spot where Khan gets like a headlock and he's like smothering the mouth of Oiwa
Mhm.
and then gets a beautiful key lock. But Oiwa transitioning it to and he transitions to the armbar, but Oiwa just fighting, getting to that bottom rope. Oiwa getting the Boston Crab onto Khan, but him reversing out into a pin looked really really good.
Mhm.
Um, or like uh, Khan reversing out into the pin was very good. But the end of the match came. Khan hit a snap suplex with the pancake hold, as Chris Charlton called it, to the pancake hold bridge to get the win.
Yeah, this one was really, really fun. I agree. I felt Oiwa did really, really good against Okan, especially in the beginning there, matching him for everything he was kind of throwing at him. Really seemed to actually kind of frustrate
Mm-hmm.
Okan throughout the entire match. There was a, I don't know why I wrote deadline. I think it auto corrected. I went deadlift gut wrench suplex
Yes, Oiwa.
by
Ooh,
Oiwa. That
Oiwa.
was
Yeah.
wicked. That was great on Okan. But yeah, I also felt this was a great match. Okan really smart in starting to target that left arm of Oiwa, which kind of was supposed to kind of, I think, help detour him from doing that deadlift. However,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, did not do so. I also felt this was a really great opener. I always like seeing the great Okan, but putting the young lions through the ringers at the beginning, always a good chance.
Oh yeah, and Okan always looking good. Like
Hmm.
even that match, we did neither of us cared for. That was him on the 22nd. Neither of us really cared. He still looked good in
Mhm.
it. It was still they still did well. I just again it was a match I didn't
Yeah,
care
yeah.
for.
You're talking about the one against Shingo, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but we move on into a tag team match. It's Jado
Mhm.
and Wato taking on Gedo and Taiji. The rhyming
I
scheme
didn't
ends
even
there.
realize the rhyme until you said it.
Well, Taiji Ishimori screws the whole rhyme up. That's the biggest problem. Is it's
Oh.
Jado and Wada versus Gedo and Taiji. That just falls apart.
And
Again,
Chihuahua.
yeah. The Bullet Club attack just after Ishimori is announced, and Ishimori getting the bell hammer on Wado on the outside early on. again, not a lot to this match. In the end, Jado, whatever you want to call it. He gets he hits Jado or Gedo hits the Jado with the brass knucks in the face.
Mm.
And gets the win. Again, again Bullet Club cheating. Again, these guys aren't even close to as blatant as House of Torture is. Yes, they picked cheat win, but they didn't spend the entire match cheating. That's the biggest thing.
This was a very like almost a Wato tie style match. Yeah, I felt that like jumpstart obviously at the beginning from Bullet Club. Didn't not expect that one from these guys. The Gedo was really tossing Wato around pretty really rough at the beginning there into the barricades on the outside. Wato really getting worked over there for a little bit at the beginning of that match. But when Gedo and Jado got in there, man, did this match turn into a brawl. It went from being a wrestling match to these guys just punching each other in the face. And I kind of liked it. Gedo getting that crossface on Jado, I was surprised he was able to keep that in. I'm not gonna lie.
And then Wato getting that arm trap headlock at the same time.
Yes, yeah,
We've pointed this out multiple times that there's a lot of, especially in Japanese wrestling, one person puts a submission on, the partners put a submission on their partners to keep them from interfering. I've noticed it a lot lately in wrestling.
It must be the trend going into this year. I'm not going to complain about it. What I will complain about is Japanese wrestling referees. Stardom and NJPW, you guys are the same now. So Stardom, either stop throwing the other two partners out and trying to like do the count, or NJPW start doing it. There can't be that inconsistency.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean on that. Yeah, it's huge inconsistency. So we move on from here and we go to the United Empires, Aaron Henare and Francesco Akira, taking on just four guys, Douki and Taka Michinoku, or as I wrote it down, Dokinoku.
Hey, you're doing good with the name combos today, my friend.
Yeah. Again, this is another one where I didn't take a lot of notes for. It was just a lot of like good back and forth. There's a great head scissors and back elbow by Douki. Look, he's pretty picture perfect. There's a beauty half and half by Akira, followed by a northern, and then Akira, and then Douki just follows it straight up with the Northern Lights. But in the end, spinning back kick by Henare to Taka, and he applies the ultimate, and Taka taps out to give Yui the win.
I really had fun with this match. I was laughing at the beginning there because I had a lot of fun with this one, especially coming out of Akira. I felt it was the personality of this match. One of my notes is Akira is feisty.
Yeah.
I just loved at the beginning point of the match there when him and Douki were having their exchange and Akira ends up on the floor and he's just sitting there yelling in Italian at him and then transitions into English. F you, Douki. F you, Douki. I'm like, oh, okay. We went there. And then I was like, wait, is he old enough to start swearing over there? He is. I think he's 22 now, 21, 22. So he is old enough to swear over there. Yeah, I don't have a whole ton to add to this except for Henare dominant in this match. He's been looking just tremendous since joining the United Empire. Really, really enjoyed this. That nailing, like his fist to the gut though. He doesn't even try to hide that. And the ref's just sitting there like, hey, you fisted the guy. And he's just like, yeah, I fisted the guy. So had to add a little joke in there for that one. But yeah, this one was fun. I really, really enjoyed this one.
Oh, me too. Again, a very good match overall. Like, very strong. But we move on to the next match of the show. I'll just say that to Akira though, like his personality is really showing.
Oh yeah.
Like it's very evident that this guy has such potential to like be a very charismatic person for this company. And it's when when he finally gets a chance to start speaking more and being that character, I think again he's very much a young Will Ospreay in that sense. Like you look, it's the same way you looked at Ospreay. You saw how good he was, and then you saw the character coming out of him over time, and that is Francesco Akira. He is the potential to be another Ospreay in the best possible way. Yeah, and he's got the guy as a teacher, which is absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, who better than Will Ospreay? And if you guys aren't following Akira on Instagram, he is posting multiple times every day. And same with his TikTok. Give him a follow. He kind of gives you some insights into his traveling throughout Japan, but also some insights into the back kind of inner workings of the United Empire. So it's definitely like a little sneak peek. Give him a follow.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. But we move on to an 8-man tag match. It's chaos. Hirooki Goto and Yoshi-Hashi, who are Bishamon, teaming with Tomohiro Ishii and Osker Leube. As
I was gonna say we're saying his name wrong.
I literally wrote his name right, and then I put in parentheses how to say his last name. I'm doing that a lot now with different wrestlers. Taking on TMDK's Mikey Nicholls, Shane Haste, Zack Sabre Jr., and Kosei Fujita. Absolutely love. Again, I love TMDK. Haste and Nicholls, one of my favorite tag teams of all time. I'll say this: when Yoshi-Hashi is wearing the title belt around his waist, coming out, his armor looks better on him. It's when he takes it off, it goes, huh. And it's like
it's almost like a cardboard that's like forcefully bent, but then when you remove the belt, it flips back into place.
Yeah. Fujita and Leube started out again because it's Fujita versus the Young Lions, because everybody hates that he's part of a faction, right? Or associated to a faction. I don't think he's like full member yet, but he's like their Young Lion associate, right? Because he can't. But and then it all just breaks down. Chaos attacking TMDK, just a bunch of crazy there. Fujita and Sabre trading the heel hook on Leube. That was absolutely fun, and this is something that is going to keep going. We're going to talk about it on the January 21st. It's Sabre teaching them how to do heel hook, and then I think it was Haste came in, went to the heel hook, and just like started to do it, and then just like and just dropped it.
It's not his thing. It's not his thing.
I found it absolutely hilarious that he tries. It's like screw it, and just drops it. I loved it.
I mean, living up to his name.
I'll say this: Ishii and Sabre's chemistry is bonkers, and it makes me so excited for February 5th. And that TV title match, it's 15 minutes, but that's gonna be 15 amazing minutes, and I cannot wait for that, because there's a chopping exchange these two have, and they trade. Ishii has this backdrop suplex, and then they just go back into trading kicks, and another chopping exchange. It was so good. Like these guys are so phenomenal together, and I cannot wait to see that match. And then end of the match, Sabre and Fujita are double teaming Ishii, with Fujita getting 2 really close pins on Ishii, but Ishii ends up hitting a huge German suplex, applies the Boston Crab to Fujita, and then sits right down in it, and Fujita taps out. But an absolutely phenomenal match.
You got a lot of what I said in there, but what I will add is the drop kick that Fujita got off on Leube at the beginning there, sending Leube out to the outside, where he was. We got to remember, Leube is huge. He's very, very tall. He dwarfed everybody in the ring. He almost dwarfed Shane Haste. And Shane Haste is a big guy. Fujita showing a Kevin Knight-esque style athleticism, catching Leube right in the chest. That was great. The other thing I wanted to say is Zack Sabre Jr.'s freaking kicks on Ishii there were absolutely brutal. He was throwing those as hard as he could, and I absolutely loved the noise coming off of them. You almost thought that he would almost hit Ishii in the back, and his neck would actually extend. Never know. And last thing I wanted to just say with Fujita, once he did get into the Boston Crab being applied by Ishii there, what I really enjoyed about it was that he didn't tap right away. He was in it for a fair amount of time, even pushing up and making progress towards the ropes before Ishii was like, "No, little boy, sit down and scream." And he did.
Yep. Very much so.
Match. This was fun.
A very fun match. And we move on. And just one more thing. I love the fact that Ishii's playing with Sabre. That Sabre will have to take 2 to 3 kicks or 2 to 3 strikes to equal Ishii, and I love that because I hate
Mhm.
again, Sabre is smaller than Ishii. He should not be damaging Ishii the same much as Ishii damages him. It
Mhm.
may, and I like the way that they play it off each other. And if I'm Sabre's been doing that with a lot of guys lately, I think it's just pretty much just saying he's like, let me hit you 2 or 3 times to your one hit because it
Mhm.
makes more sense.
I have to agree, and we actually see another example of this that I wrote down, I believe, in the next show.
Mhm. Like when he was against Narita, I can they're similar frames, so one
Yeah.
to one that's fine. But when you're going up against an Ishii, he should be
Mhm.
having to hit him 3 times, equal what that one smack from Ishii means, and that's what I
100%.
really love. That's why I'm so excited for that match.
100%. It's going to be a brawl.
Yeah. So next up is a tag team match: Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroshi Tenzan, taking on Bullet Club's El Phantasmo and Kenta. Again, I don't have a lot of notes for this one. It's a good back and forth. Kenta and Tana really working towards, I think, their February 11th match, or is it
Correct. Yeah.
on one of the this weekend matches? I can't remember. Um, but a very good. Tenzan and Phantasmo just kind of going back and forth with their little stuff. Mel's getting messages as we do the show. I could hear it.
I know. It's like, leave me alone, please leave me alone.
But yeah, really good like back and forth. There's the back rakes from Bullet Club, and I'll say this over and over, just so over the top. Just
Dermis Destroyer, is that what they call them, or are they just the
yeah,
back rakes now?
they're just that back rake, Durst, whatever you want to call it. It's just so over the top with some of the things. I'm going to point out a special one on
Mhm.
the next night's match, but
Mhm.
it's just so over the top. Did make a note. I thought Tenzon lost the rights to do the Mongolian chops to Great Khan.
Yes, they were discussing this on commentary. I think
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was this night or the next night. I think it might have actually been the next night. But depending on where it is, he has lost rights to I believe it was the Mongolian chops. However, he still has rights to the cork and clubs. He still has rights. They had a couple other ones in like Osaka, something else. You know, it's for someone who likes marketing and stuff like that, it's a slippery slope, to
Mm-hmm.
say the least.
Very
Yeah.
much so. But yeah, end of
But
this
then again,
match.
what could Tenzon do if he didn't have the Mongolian chops?
Yeah.
Certainly not a brain buster.
No. End of the match. ELP gets a roll up for 2 and then hits sudden death super kick on Tenzon to get the win. After the match,
Mhm,
Kenta did attack Tana with the bell hammer
mhm.
on the floor and then beats up. No, it wasn't Oiwa. It was what's the dude with the crazy hair wrestling the next night?
Nakashima.
Nakashima. I wrote Oiwa, but I realized it wasn't him afterwards. It's Nakashima.
The one with
But
the nice hair.
Nakashima starts bringing up, so he starts hitting him with the bell hammer. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. See, this what what got me and made me in like I enjoyed this match just in general because I really, really enjoy Kenta and I really, really enjoy the comedy that ELP always brings to his matches, regardless if they're a very serious match or if they're not a very serious match. The Purple Nurple battle with Hiroshi Tanahashi kind of gave me life. I really enjoyed it. Um, kind of made the whole thing for me, and again, just had me in stitches for the rest of the match. Because, like, how funny is it to watch two grown men sitting there arguing about who's going to twist whose nip?
Mm.
It's just a very interesting spot in there. The sudden death seems to be something that ELP is starting to rely upon again.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, definitely enjoying that. I like to see the evolution of going from like a move to favoring a move to favoring a different move.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm very excited to see the kind of fallout between this, how it affects Tanahashi and Kenta's match in the future.
Yeah. I very much enjoy this. And Kenta and Tanahashi, I think they're tied 3-3 right now, or I think Kenta might be ahead 4-3. I can't remember, but their
Mm.
series has been absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see what these guys do next on February 11th because you know they just want to top what they. I'm scared that they're going to try and top what they did at Wrestle Kingdom last year, and that was insanity. So
Yeah.
going to be nuts. But we move on into a tag team match. It is the team of Los Ingobernables de Humpo and Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi taking on Ryusuke Taguchi and Yo, or as they call him, Yo Ass.
What the fuck?
I was having fun with this.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not a good one because it was a good reaction, but like, whoa. I don't know how aggressively I want to announce that one.
Yo Ass.
Now presenting Yo. Oh gosh, continue, sir. Continue.
I gotta say, Bushi's mask looked absolutely phenomenal tonight. The color in it, and then the fuzzy fringe on it.
Yes, the
Oh my
Taiji.
God! Well, the over top mask and then the mask rewarder in the match,
Yeah.
both absolutely gorgeous, man. Just you can't. He always has the best mask, man. Even with T-Top, when T-Top was there, I still say most of Bushi's were better. Even though T-Tops are amazing, Bushi's were still usually better. But yeah, there's a spot where like Bushi really loves to crotch Taguchi. Like he loves to like hit him in the crotch. It just seems to be his thing. Like he got him on the ropes. He crotched him on the ropes, and then he pulled him to the corner and crotched him on the corner post. Like he really loves doing it. And then he did the butterfly lock thing where his butt's exposed, and Hiromu ends up slapping him in the ass to break it. Like what the?
I mean, the funky weapon, right? You got to do what you got to do to disarm it. If that means taking the trigger, which would be the trigger, that would be the trigger to pull. Also, I could understand though. I mean, I think we got the answer as to why Bushi wanted to wreck Taguchi's balls so badly, and that was that mimicking thing that they were doing at the beginning there. I'd be pretty annoyed too. It was like, I'm the badass with the mask in the corner. You're the guy who does a Brazilian lap dance on people as a move, my guy. Sit down.
Yeah, very much so. But yeah, I
You
thought
hear the
really
noises he was making after after taking the, but he was kind of making that woo 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 woo. I was like, what is that noise? Until Chris Charlton said that it was him, I had no idea what that was. I thought it was my neighbors.
Your neighbors must be fun people, but
at 10:30 p.m., that's not the noise I want to be hearing through a wall.
Well, yeah, honestly, a very good junior heavyweight tag match is really what this was. A lot of fast-paced action, really good stuff. In the end, lung blower, and then the MX by Bushi to Taguchi to get the win. And then after the match, Hiromu and Yo on the outside, just like sitting like really close and like rubbing each other's chests. It was really weird.
I mean, this is the kind of weird behavior I expect out of Yo at this point. But
Hiromu too.
Yeah, I was gonna say with Hiromu, probably not so much either. But like, was this in relation to their chop thing? Because they did have
no, because it was after the match when they're both like sitting, and then they were like going like this on each other's, like going like that on like touching each other's chest. It was really weird.
Because I feel, was it some foreshadowing for the next night where they had that big chop off where one of them was
it could be. I'm not sure. It just seemed really weird
I don't
in
know.
the situation.
Yeah. I just knew that I was kind of like, I felt the same way. I was kind of like, what are you guys doing? But again, they're both kind of in that kind of, interesting, weird persona where it's like, did we really not expect that though?
No, yeah, you're right.
Also, just to note, while Bushi is on the screen, there were 2 Bushis in the crowd that night. 2 Bushis I saw.
Gotta love Bushis. Gotta love all the Bushis. So we move on to the semi-main event of the evening. It's probably where I took the most notes. It's United Empire's TJP and Will Ospreay taking on just 4 guys, Taiji and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Now, Taiji and Ospreay trading those running boots at the start look just like brutal. And then Ospreay getting the head scissors, like, yeah. And then Taiji catching the flying forearm attempt and then hits that dangerous backdrop. Dude, like, this just makes me more and more excited for their face off, man. These 2 are so good. Like, just the athleticism throughout. Like, TJP, man, this guy is something else. Like, it's weird to say he is the most experienced member of of United Empire. Like
Mhm.
he's the veteran of that team. It's weird to say because I've never thought of TJP as a veteran up until he joined UE because he started so young. So I've always thought of him as a young wrestler,
Mhm.
and it's now you're
Doesn't
thinking
help that
he's
he also has that, like, anti-aging look on his
yeah,
face, my
he
goodness.
looks like he's in his 20s, but he's like I think the guy's like 37 or 38 years old now. Looks like
Give
he's
me
20.
that fountain of youth, sir.
He looks like he's 27, and just the speed, the power, everything. The tornado DDT is like absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
It's just it's so smooth in everything they do, and he does. Same with Ospreay. Same with Taichi. Like his stuff is like it's not over the top and crazy, but it's more basic. But everything he does is just smooth. Like the DDTs, everything just it's smooth.
Mhm. Mhm.
And Kanemaru's that satellite DDT is absolutely phenomenal. And
Yeah.
but yeah, the end of this match, TJP distracts Kanemaru, who's on the second rope, and then as he jumps off, Will Ospreay hits like a super kick or hook kick
Mhm.
to Kanemaru, then just smashes him with a hidden blade in the back of the head and gets the win. And then
Mhm.
Ospreay and Taichi end up fighting after the match, and the Young Lions have to break it up.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The Osprey and Taichi definitely setting up more for their feud. That was definitely more the focus in this one, but also
mm,
Kanemaru and I believe TJP. Douki and Kanemaru are going to be going after Akira and TJP's.
on
Um,
the fifth,
yeah,
yeah,
so setting up for this, and we'll see a little bit more in the next show. Also, what I want to say, because like I don't have a ton of notes on this one. I was very enamored by the match and what was going on. Um, what I will say about this one, I really, really enjoy this new follow-up kind of combo that Wasprey is doing with the hidden blade. It's always like something and then the hidden blade, but it's
yeah,
not like a long amount of time passes between it. It's like the thing happens and the hidden blade happens instantaneously, whether it's with TJP, whether it's on his own. I feel it's a really good evolution for the United Empire and for Will Ospreay because it's something that people aren't expecting. You know, once they get that hook kick, they're expecting to sit there dazed for a little bit, not immediately be cranked by
yeah.
a hidden blade. So I really feel that this is a really good step for the United Empire. And again, Will Ospreay in general, going into his feud with Taichi. I'm looking forward to that match.
Oh, me too, very, very much. Move on to the main event. Didn't change. But move on to the main event of the January 24th show. It's Chaos. Kazuchika Okada and Toriano teaming up with Shota Umino,
Hmm.
taking on LAJ's Sanada, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito. Yano is the greatest thing to ever happen in professional wrestling. I know I've shit on him before, but when he's in there with Sonata trying to put a paradise lock on and just not do it, it's literally one of the most simple holds you could ever put on a person. But
But
Yano
Chase
just
still hasn't done it either, and Chase is a really smart wrestler.
I know, but it's just hilarious, and I find it so goddamn funny to see him fail on it, and then they go to the so Sonata goes to do the corner pad removal afterwards, and he can't do the corner pad removal. Like he's having trouble with it. It's funny to see the back and forth and how
Mm,
he's having trouble with the others kind of
niche.
thing.
Yeah.
It was really quite funny. And then he ends up and then Yano pulled one off, so he puts Yano in the paradise lock and used the corner pad that Yano pulled to literally crank him in the ass to unlock the paradise lock. Absolutely hilarious. There's a spot in there, Okada, that air raid crash neck breaker, where he has the guy up and then drives him into his knee.
Hmm. Brutal.
Absolute, absolutely phenomenal. I
Hmm.
like it. Always looks so good. Um,
Hmm.
dude, like Umino dodging that. There was a dodge a springboard splash by Sonata. Then he captures him and just tosses him over his head with that exploder suplex.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Oof.
dude, it so
Brutal.
good, so good. In the end, Sonata goes to roll up Umino for two, but he kicks out, and Umino gets the pop up uppercut, and he hits the Death Rider onto
Hmm.
Sonata, gets the win. Big like really pushing this guy because he's going to be taking on Naito. You got to
Mhm.
really build this guy because you can't make him like not be taking. He needs to get the pins in these matches because he needs to look strong going into night facing that. I think that's on the 11th. I think, or is that no? Maybe it's on the 5th. I can't remember which date it's
I
on.
don't remember either.
I
And
have a
it's
couple
not
of
like
feature
Kevin and
matches.
Chris didn't mention it on commentary, right?
Yeah. And then after the match, Umino saying he promises to make a paradigm shift in New Japan
Mhm.
in 2023, so don't lose sight of him. So I think that means he's going to bring Jon Moxley back to Japan proper.
I mean, it would make sense. I mean, AEW and NJPW to have this like really nice relationship going right now, and
Mm-hmm.
especially with I always get the tournaments out of order. We just had the
G1.
yeah, like we have another tournament going in, so I would love to see a couple AEW guys come over and kind of supplement into
Oh,
that.
like the New Japan Cup, yeah. Forgot
Yeah,
about that one. Yeah,
yeah.
and then G1 in the summer. I would love to see Jon Moxley back, and I want to see Daniel Bryan in that so badly.
Could we see Shooter
Or Bryan
also being
Danielson,
a
sorry.
first time entrant into that? That would be
Oh,
really exciting.
Shooter will
Yeah.
be in the G1 this year. There's no way he's not.
I'm very much excited to see where Shooter does go in
Mm-hmm.
NJPW, just to showcase him real quick at the end here, because he came in like after his excursion, everyone loves him, and he has just come out of the gun running.
Mm-hmm.
Coming into these amazing matches, he's looking like an athlete, he's performing like an athlete, he has the crowd captivated, he's gosh dang handsome. Like this is the future ace of this company. Couldn't be going up against a better test against Tetsuya Naito.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Hmm.
The absolutely phenomenal main event.
Hmm.
So we move on to the January 25th show. Before we do that, I want to give one more shout out to our sponsor, Rogue Energy. QR code down the bottom right, and Mel's pointing to the right there. She's a little bit farther away from the code than usual. Use code OLEPODS for 10% off your order. And for everybody watching this video, please like, subscribe, comment down below. We always enjoy the comments from our fans. We've been trying to interact with everybody that sends a comment. We've been trying to respond back to you because we want to interact. That's what we
Hmm.
want. So yeah, please like
We
and
like to talk
subscribe.
wrestling.
Oh, very much so. So we move on to the January 25th show, and it is Osker Leube taking on Aaron Henare. Again, there's a bunch of these I don't take a lot of notes for.
Hmm.
Again, it's house show tour. So like
Hmm.
Henare faking the stomp and then kicking him in the back and hitting the senton early on was great. And then one thing I'll say for Leube, the size is
Okay.
amazing. He's got size, like it's that. But
Yes.
when he wants to flop around and sell, that's going to be this man's like what makes this man a star is the fact as a giant man, he is going to be able to sell for people. Most big men don't sell super well.
Hmm.
He will because I can see it in him already. Way he was selling like the stomps, the Boston Crab, everything in this. He will like I'm not saying it's Shawn Michaels level selling, but for a big man, he's probably going to be the big man Shawn Michaels level seller. He's probably going to be that guy for big men because you don't see guys his size sell that well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can work with Fale a little bit, help him out with that. Also, Fale is also very, very good at that.
Oh, very much so.
Hmm.
But yeah, there was a beautiful pop up into a knee strike by Henare. So good. But in the end, the roundhouse heel kick to the jaw of Leube gets Henare the win. The Young Lions literally dragged, like they had him over his shoulder, and his legs were just like they were
He was
literally
jogging. He was
they
floating.
literally drag carried him out of the arena.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And how much does that showcase just the strength and power of Aaron Henare as the oh, I always forget what his nickname is in the United Empire.
No, Ultimate Weapon. No,
Yeah, yeah, that
is
would
it?
make sense. Is
No,
with
because
his name.
his finisher's Ultima. So
Yeah,
he's the Ultimate Weapon.
the
I think.
ultimate weapon. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Would be interesting to see maybe the walking weapon and the ultimate weapon kind of go head to head one day, see who the big weapon is.
That'd be pretty. We are going
Yeah.
to get to see. We are going to have to see Josh Alexander on the Battle in the Valley show. He's in an 8-man tag, so that was
Mm-hmm.
announced a couple days
Mm-hmm.
ago. So we're going to get to see that. I'm absolutely excited for that show. We will be covering it on here, so do not worry, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
But We move on to the second match of the 25th show, and his Bebop tag team, Hiroshi Tanahashi Toriyama versus Bullet Club's Gedo and Kenta. I love Kenta stalling. Like, he does it in such a way where you just get angry at the guy, but in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
To get annoyed with him. But I gotta say, Gato's shirt looked terrible, with the neck all giant stretched out. I was like, ugh. Like, it just
Who do you
bothered
barf?
me.
I don't know.
It just bothered me. I don't know what it was. It just bothered the hell out of me, man. But yeah, there was a spot where Yano goes to the corner pad, but Gedo pulls him off the corner from stopping from doing it. But then he gets Gedo off, and he goes back to the corner to take the corner pad off, and then Kenta just runs up and starts yelling at him when he's on the apron, and Yano just stops. It was a weird way to deter Yano from doing his thing, but it was absolutely phenomenal. And then
I mean,
Yano
who knows
did
what he said because we don't speak Japanese, but maybe he said something pretty lewd to him that made him really like.
yeah, but Yano did eventually get the corner pad off, and this is where I think it was Kenta or was it Gedo? Oh yeah, Gedo starts stomping on the turnbuckle pad, and Yano covers it up and takes a couple of stomps from Gedo, trying to protect his turnbuckle pad.
I can't remember
Absolutely
what one
beautiful
his name
comedy.
was.
I don't, but absolute beautiful comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is where that stuff belongs in a second match of the evening tag. Like, when it comes to G1s and tournaments, that's not where it belongs. But when it comes to something like this, this is absolutely where stuff like this belongs, and I absolutely love stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at the end of the match, Gedo is stopped from using the brass knuckles. Kenta brings in a chair, but Tanahashi actually dropped Tohold's Kenta, and he goes face first into the chair. And then Yano hits the low blow on Gedo and rolls him up. And yeah, great. I thought a great, fun match overall. And then Kenta attacks Tanahashi and Yano after the match, and then starts attacking Tanahashi with the bell hammer again.
This was fun, and I agree. It was exactly where it needed to be on the card. It was the right amount of comedy with the right amount of seriousness to set up for the Tanahashi Kenta showdown. I didn't notice Kenta's shirt, or sorry, Gato's shirt, but now I'm gonna have to go back
It was just like, you see my neck on my shirt?
Yeah.
It was probably it was like out here.
Oh.
Like, it was like down here. It was like,
It's like he reused one that someone
it's like somebody like stretched the living hell out of the neck.
I wonder if maybe it was an older shirt and he had like actually gotten like grabbed by the cuff and like put up against.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but it annoyed me.
Interesting. I'll have to go back and watch that because I want to see that now.
Yeah. Let me move on to the next match of the evening. It is the team of Master Wato and Togi Makabe taking on the Bullet Club's cutest tag team, Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori. That is their words, not mine. I'm just reading what
Our
they were.
Our good friend, the foe, has the shirt.
Wato, at the start of this match, the fire he showed at the start, like, man, this guy, like, I will say this. I think it's time that Wato gets a run with the title. I think he needs. My personal opinion, I want to see him win Best of the Super Juniors and challenge and win that title this summer. I really want that because I think, like, I was not a proponent of Master Wato for the longest time, but these last like 6 months, like, really since coming out of last year's Best of the Super Junior, maybe it's like 9 months. I think this guy has really come into his own. Like, he's dropped the Grand Master part and like that stuff, and he's just Master Wato. I think he needs to go back to being Kirai Hawato, or was it Kirai Hawato? Yeah, I think he needs to go back to that. But again, that's just a personal feeling. This is actually where I was thinking about the back rakes. Dude, they're absolutely ridiculous. And then the double team one where Taiji Ishimori is up on the second rope and comes off and goes and then comes down the back with it while Phantasmo is holding the opponent. Jesus, it's just so over the top. But again, they're using it in a spot, third match of the evening, and it's over the top and ridiculous, but it's in a third match of the card. It doesn't have to be a super serious. It's not. This isn't a big serious program. This is, you know what I mean? So yeah, Makabe just ragdolling these guys when he's carrying them around because the rest of them are all like technically ELP's heavyweight now, but he's like just on the heavyweight. Like, you know what I mean? He's just
Yeah.
ragdolling these guys, man, just crazy. And then Phantasmo with a beautiful lion salt to Makabe there. But Makabe goes to the King Kong knee drop at the end. ELP rolls away, just rolls away. So Makabe comes down, comes over to pick him up, and this is where ELP hits the sudden death super kick and
Mhm.
gets the.
And again, that sudden death being a real big thing for ELP now.
Mhm.
Do we see that maybe being a thing going forward for him in his next big match there? I'm thinking so. It's nice to see Wato again, as you mentioned. I think it was the last video you were actually like Gedo fix it with
Yeah,
with Wato.
I want Gedo to just make him Hirooki Kawato again. Like,
Mm.
I think the master part, the grandmaster part, he's divorced himself from it a good bit, but I think he needs to make a clean break from it to truly be for some people to truly think I'm ready to take this guy seriously, even with the Master Wato name. I just prefer if he was Hirooki Kawato. But yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, and as I was saying, the evolution that he has done, that you mentioned over the last couple months has been tremendous. I'm very happy to see that he's no longer doing that nasty blue hair. That was
mm,
clearly too much work to keep up with. I'm very well so happy that he's moved away from the blue and pink bottoms and styling. He's definitely, I want to say, matured. I feel like matured might be the right word for him. Um, do I think that he should have a run right now with the title? Not quite. Do I think that he could if he won and was in the finals of the Super Juniors? Absolutely, because that's a few more months for him to
mm,
really polish things up. He's getting into phenomenal shape, working out with Tanahashi all the time. So I'd say by the time the Super Juniors are going on, he's going to be ready for that. I think
yeah,
so.
and I think that's the project they're building. He's building Master
Mhm.
Wato to win that Best of Super Juniors and take the title from Hiromu. I think that's what they're building. I
Mhm.
truly think that's what they're building, and I think that's a great thing.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So that being said, we know who you think is going to retain over Yo and Hiromu.
Yeah, I want Yo to win, but I see if I see Hiromu retaining. It's his first defense, so I don't see
Mhm.
the problem. I want Yo to win, but again, it's a personal thing. We move on to the next match of the evening, and it is pretty much almost the same match from the night before. Sorry to say, Chaos
Mhm.
is for Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yoshi-Hashi, and Yuto Nakashima taking on TMDK. The big thing here was again Nakashima and Fujita really
Mhm.
fighting at each other, and a lot of that. But again, very similar match in a lot of it throughout the other
Mhm.
throughout 7 people that were in it yesterday. A lot of good stuff from Nakashima too, but
Mhm.
again, very similar, not the same, but similar. Again, it's a
Mhm.
house show tour.
But they were teaching Fujita a different move
Yeah,
today
it
or
was
for this one.
they were calling it double wrist lock, also known as the Kimura,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
or the or the key lock.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did very much like that. And again,
Mm.
they're reteaching them, and then again, was it Nicholls came in and just said, "Ah, screw it," and just
Yes.
didn't do it. Just said, "I'm not doing that." I
It's
liked
not
it.
a style.
Yeah,
Not a
I,
style.
I love that Hayes said no to the heel hook the day before, and it's Nicholls saying nah today. I really do like that. I
Mhm.
will gotta give props to Goto. That wheel kick into the corner and followed by the bulldog, dude. It
Mhm.
looks so good.
Oh, Goto. It's
Yeah.
Goto.
Uh, Fujita getting a beautiful belly to belly suplex on Nakashima for 2,
Mm.
absolutely phenomenal. But the ending was what surprised me more than anything. Was Fujita and Sabre both locking Kimuras on both Ishii and Nakashima, and the two legal men are Fujita and Nakashima taps to Fujita. That's very like I understand young lions being on winning teams, but it's very rare that young lions get the win even over another young lion unless it's in a
Mhm.
singles match or in a pure young lion match, and sometimes those just go to draws.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it was very surprising to see that, and then there's a big old brawl at the end, like
Mhm.
just
Yeah, when they're
crazy.
setting up the picture.
Yeah, and then Sabre working over Ishii's arm in there, and then was it Haste choking Yoshi-Hashi with Yoshi-Hashi's title belt?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they ended up was a T. Ishii chases TMDK up the
Yes.
entranceway and like fights
Yeah.
into the back of them, and then you have the rest of Chaos just chasing them into the back.
And it continued. It continued as Kevin and Chris let us know on commentary. They were still fighting in the back into the next
Mm-hmm.
match. And I don't know if you also caught on commentary at the beginning there when Chris and Kevin were mentioning Nakashima and Fujita. Apparently, yeah, Fujita's still a part of the Young Lion kind of thing. And the story they're working on right now is because he has joined TMDK, he's shirking on his duties at the dojo. So he's not doing the things that he's respectfully supposed to when going through the dojo system, which is causing this animosity between Fujita and Leube, Nakashima, and
Mm.
Oiwa. Um, it's very interesting, as you mentioned, that Fujita was able to get that submission over Nakashima, but how much does that speak to maybe the teachings of the submission magician there, Mr. Zack Sabre Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
He's only had Fujita for how long? What, 3 weeks?
Yeah, and he's turning him into quite the little technical wrestler.
A little Japanese version of himself. I mean, how incredible is that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we move on to the next match. It's the United
Mhm,
Empire's Great Khan and TJP taking on just four guys: Taka Michinoku, Yoshinobu
mhm.
Kanemaru, otherwise known as Takanobu. I'm just making up the worst names at this point now.
Oh, and I loved at the beginning of this one too. I don't know if you heard on commentary. I don't hear it often, but sometimes I hear it. Chris Charlton, all hailed Great Khan. I loved it.
Oh yeah,
Loved it.
you gotta love that. There's a great quick little start from TJP and Kanemaru in
Mhm,
this, trading the holds and drop kicks, and
mhm,
it's just great back and forth. Um, TJP at one point inadvertently striking Great Khan on the apron.
mhm,
And then Kanemaru ends up sending TJP into Khan, sending him to the floor, and it was just like it was kind of really worked it. And then the big point of this match was Kanemaru and Taka working the knee of TJP.
mhm,
It was really working that knee,
mhm,
and yeah, that's what I say. Probably a good 75-80% of this match was them working that knee,
mhm.
and
Minimum, yeah.
like there was a spot at the end where TJP goes for the plancha but missed, but Khan still gets the sheep killer on in the ring on Taka and gets the submission victory. But like he's
Mhm.
really selling that knee after the match.
Mhm, mhm. And man, did Okan viciously put that sheep killer on to Taka. And
Mhm.
Taka, man, just the experience he has, he knows how to sell it so over the toply. I loved it. But yeah, TJP really like selling the knee brace or the knee pad was down, the boot was unlaced. Um, could this be an issue for the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions going into their match against Douki and Kanemaru?
I hope it's not, but it's in that's the story they're trying to tell is will TJP go in at 100%?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't suspect it will. I feel that like I love Kanemaru and Doki and the pairing of them, but I just don't quite feel that they're ready to represent the tag division quite
Hmm.
yet as a team. I feel that the United Empire is just there's as their namesake says, they're just that more united that TJP and Akira are going to be able to kind of pull that out of the bag, but
I
we'll see
agree.
when we get there.
I very much agree with that. We move on to the other match that involved the exact same factions. United
Mhm,
Empire is Akira and Ospreay taking on just for guys Douki and Taiji. I don't have a
mhm.
name for those two, so I don't have a name for these ones. Sorry, it's hard to
Yeah, I
put
was gonna
those.
say I'm not drawing anything right now.
Yeah.
Tai don't. Yeah,
Um,
no, you're not gonna try.
Taiduki, Taiduki.
That's, that sounds like a Street Fighter move.
Again, it's the Hadouken, but Taiduki.
Goodness.
Oh, Jesus, this is a fun show. Again, a really good back and forth match. It was very much focused on Taichi and Osprey's
Mhm,
feud here is what a lot of this focused around.
mhm,
Really working Osprey's neck, like that's what again the focus. You always work Ospreay's neck. It's his weak point. It really
Mhm,
is. He's had neck
mhm,
problems in the past. But yeah, I didn't take honestly. It's again my favorite pro wrestler in the world, and I didn't really take a lot of notes here. It was just a lot of really great back and forth.
yeah.
Um, just a lot of really great athleticism. There's a couple spots where Taichi chokes Ospreay with the microphone stand on the floor. There's a spot
Mhm,
where Ospreay choked uh, Taichi with the microphone stand on the floor. I will say this that that there was one spot where Douki got the Daybreaker. Gotta love it. I love that Daybreaker. It looks so
mhm,
good.
mhm,
There's a great spot. Ospreay stops the suplex to the Luna, goes for the power bomb, but he gets like Dragon Rana, like Rana into a pin. But
mhm,
Akira in with that fireball knee strike to Douki to
mhm,
break the pin of absolute perfection of a breakup pin.
mhm, mhm,
End of the match though comes Taichi goes for the power bomb. Akira slips out. Ospreay hits the hook kick on him, and then sends Akira like in like throwing drop kick into him in the corner.
mhm,
He's to Douki, and then he lines him up, hits that hidden blade, and on Douki, and Ospreay picks up the win
mhm,
again.
mhm.
Like that hidden blade is it's as much as I love Stormbreaker, I think that's his. I gotta pull this out to crush somebody move. Where hidden blade is
Mhm.
his. I think that's gonna be the standard finish, and that Stormbreaker is going to be that special finish.
Mhm, mhm, yeah. I feel like the hidden blade has become that trigger pin for him, that trigger ending for him when he's like, "Okay, I'm done. I need a break. I need a nappy nap. This is what we pull out." Um,
Yeah.
this was a really, really fun match for me. Something I noted, the daybreaker you had mentioned. Obviously, that's one of my favorite moves that Doki
Mm-hmm.
does. But as we had mentioned earlier, we got the Zack Sabre Jr., who is significantly smaller than Ishii, having to feed 3 or 4 shots into Ishii to kind of get Ishii to kind of
Mm-hmm.
react to Ishii's one shot to Zack Sabre Jr. That Daybreaker was a great example also. I mean, that's his finish.
Mm-hmm.
And but Zack Sabre Jr. or sorry, Will Ospreay, more a heavyweight than a junior like Doki. So it made sense to me that, even though Doki has put on a lot of muscle and has really bulked up in the last couple months, he's still not that heavyweight level to be able to pull off a
Mm-hmm.
finish on a heavyweight. Um, I had a lot of fun with this match, especially like getting confused on who was in the ring for the United Empire. How much does Akira kind of look like just a minimized, like slightly smaller version of Will
We
Ospreay?
said that
And
earlier.
yeah,
Yeah.
seeing them next to each other, it was really evident. It just Will Ospreay's just like a slightly beefier version of Akira. And like at one point, I was
The
like,
beards. The
yeah, the
beards. The
beard,
hair. It,
everything, even their movement, the way they move, how they wrestle, it's
they're tights.
absolutely incredible.
They're tights.
Exactly. And it's so perfect. I loved it. I was actually amused by it. But and then how well they work together also. And seeing again, I have to relate back to their socials, seeing the camaraderie with them on their social medias. It's just absolutely hilarious to see how
Well,
this
it
team is so bonded.
just with the socials, it feels like Big Brother, Little Brother is
Yeah.
what these two really feel like. Like that's
Mhm,
what it feels
mhm,
like to me is Big Brother, Little Brother. Yeah, and I say the same thing for Akira with TJP. It's Big Brother, Little Brother too. But
mhm,
I see it even more because it's like they look at each other. They look like they look like they could be brothers.
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
this was
like
a really, really fun match for me. I really, really enjoyed this one.
yeah. Maybe Akira's not really Italian. He was just given to an Italian family when he's actually Osprey's long lost little brother. You never know.
But keep talking in Italian because that language.
We move on to the semi-main event of the evening. We're getting a little long here. It is Shota Umino and Tomoaki Hanma taking on Lij, Sanada, and Naito. Again,
Mhm.
very good match. Hanma, I think, showing that he still got something in the tank, but not
Mhm.
a main event. I'm going to go after a title, something in his tank. Like he's
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
He's a very good support person for anybody in this company, and he shows that he
100%.
can really do it. Naito ends up on the was it Naito's on the floor, and how is it? Umino does like a kick to Sonata, then comes running over someone else and just does the flip into the Naito pose. I was like, "Oh, you cocky little shit!" Yeah,
It was appropriate, though. It was an appropriate taunt for the time of the match.
yeah. But the end of the match comes with Hanma getting a clothesline to the back of the head of Naito, but Sonata comes in, hits a drop kick, and Naito scores a beautiful enziguri. Sonata hits a backdrop suplex, and Naito rolls over into the jackknife cover to get the win. Then after that, Naito hits Destino on Umino.
After hitting him in the balls.
Yes, and I know they're going to compete on the next few shows that are the house shows, but this is the last thing we see of these two is him putting Destino on Umino. So to me, that leaves me going, will Umino win
and
this?
The pin. Sonata counting the pin after.
Yeah, so it's like,
because
like,
Red Shoes Umino refused.
But like, what is this foreshadowing? That's the real thing. So,
yeah. The couple things that I wanted to note in this one is, first of all, Naito getting back at Shota after the taunt on the inside there, throwing Shota into every barricade possible at ringside. It kind of bothered me because the focus was taken away from the incredible in-ring competition between Hamna and Sonata that was still happening while Shota Umino was being ping-ponged around the outside there. I felt that Sonata really, really wrestled smart in this match, particularly against Hamna. What I also really, really enjoyed was, oh goodness, afterwards, the ball shot, the laying him out, choking Red Show's Umino on the outside in front of the commentary. It's just Naito doing his mind messery that he's very, very good at. Are we seeing some foreshadowing? I do, especially looking in this photo. I mean, Shota's got the same hairstyle as Naito in this one. We're going to be seeing a battle of the new hotness and the old flame kind of in New Japan right now. I'm very excited for this match.
I like that. I really like that little word.
You're not the only one with the fun names today.
Perfection. I move on to the main event of the evening. It's Chaos's Kazuchika Okada and Yo team up with Ryusuke Taguchi taking on Alleged's Bushi, Hiromu, and Takagi. Again, this is building Okada versus Takagi for February 11th. This is building Yo versus Hiromu for, I think, the 4th or 5th. I can't remember which day it is. But yeah, it's very much building that. And then it's building Bushi messing with Taguchi's crotch. Well, he does it. He gets a hold where he's got a hold of the legs of Taguchi, and then he puts his foot into the crotch of Taguchi and is pulling. And it's
at that point, though, it was payback for the Brazilian lap dance that he did on Hiromu at the beginning of the match.
I know, but it's still, he does it. If Bushi and Taguchi are in there, he's doing something to Taguchi's crotch. He's obsessed with Taguchi's crotch.
Even during the tag team, the Super Junior Tag Team League, it was the same thing. He targeted Taguchi's balls.
Yeah. I will say that
against him, man.
Yeah, I will say this for Okada though. I'm kind of done with his Inoki jackets. They look way too big on him. It just don't fit. You can go with that same style of stuff, but go back to your old style of jacket that fit you better. Because he looks just like a little kid wearing his dad's coat. Like,
so
it's literally. No, like, again, yeah, I agree with that, but it's just, that's how it feels to me. He's a little kid wearing his daddy Inoki's jacket. That's all it feels to me, and I'm just like, why are you like? I know you're the new representation, you're the new Inoki for this company, but you don't have to be him. You are your own person forever. Go back to being yourself. You don't need, and the look, the size, I'm done with that jacket. But this match was very, very good. Takagi, just the power on this guy is absolutely phenomenal. Okada just running wild, doing some crazy stuff. Getting a flapjack. And yeah, it's a lot of great stuff. Okada with that drop again, that drop kick. It's second only to Kevin Knight
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
Kevin Knight's got a better drop kick in my opinion. The end of this match comes though. Yo hit Poison Rana's Hiromu.
Hmm.
He gets kicked in the head by Bushi, but comes back with a super kick of his own. Hits the DMV, which is a kneecap brainbuster. Then hits the direct drive, the butterfly DDT suplex, which is eerily similar to Shota Umino's Death Rider.
Yeah.
Gets the win on Bushi here. So again, very very good match here. I absolutely loved it. Like a great way to
Yeah.
cap off the show.
I have to agree. Um, Shingo, yeah, as you mentioned, showing off that strength, really tossing around Okada, and almost like working off that kind of, I don't want to say pissiness, but it does seem to be a pissiness that Okada does seem to have and has had for the last couple shows. Um, Most likely because of the Kaido situation, but Shingo really was given it to Okada in this one. He had a wicked sliding lariat on Okada, just taking his head off.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, amazing bout. Something that I wanted to go back to that you were saying with Okada's jacket. I was actually speaking to somebody, a good friend of mine, who also used to be a wrestler. His name is Ryan. He was saying the exact same thing. Looking at it from a world champion perspective, the outfit and the jacket, it's very plain. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't say world champion. It kind of says, "Hi, I'm here," and I do have to
Hi, I'm trying
agree.
to be my daddy.
Yeah, it doesn't feel authentic to what it is that we know
Mm,
Okada is capable of presenting to us.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm hoping to see a little bit of an evolution of Okada in 2023 going forward here.
yeah.
Oh, and also just to throw out there, there were three Bushis in the crowd for this one, two gold and black and one silver and black.
Gotta love the Bushis. Gotta love the
Bushi!
Bushis. So we are coming to the end of this show. I want to thank everybody that's watched the show. Please like, subscribe, comment below. We absolutely want to interact with you. The more likes and subscribes we get, the better it helps us through YouTube
Mhm.
and the comments. We just want to talk to you. We want to chat with you. We want to talk about professionals. We had a great.
Mhm.
I don't have him up right now. I should have had him up. Give me a sec. He's a big commenter on our Stardom shows. Where is it? God damn it! Where the heck is
Oh,
it?
yes.
I just had a great conversation with him over the last day or two. Sorry, I don't mean to make this too long, but
Mhm.
ground MTG. Like, thank you for all
Mhm.
reaching out
Mhm.
so much with everything you've been doing. You've been reaching out so much. You might not see this because I don't know if you're watching our New Japan stuff, but and then we were talking about the February 4th show for Stardom. So please,
Mhm.
like all that, we want to talk to you. We want to communicate. We want to have a great conversation with you. So please reach out. And then I want to say thank you to Rogue Energy. Again, 10% off your order using OLE the code OLEPOD. Scan the QR code down the bottom. Go to rogueenergy.com. And the OLE Pods comes from our partnership with our good friends at our local establishment. I should put that stuff up on the screen. Twitch.tv/ our local establishment. On Instagram and TikTok at OLE Podcast, and on YouTube.com/ at our local establishment. And our other partner, our good buddy Mike the Ref. You want to support this man. He is absolutely phenomenal. You can check him out on YouTube.com/ at Backbreaker Video, where you might be watching us. On Twitch.tv/ Mike the Ref, where he's got awesome, great streams going on, and youtube.com/ Backbreaker Gaming, where it's all his videos coming up from all his gaming streams. And if you are watching us on Backbreaker Video, please check out Andre Melball Wrestling Talk on YouTube. And yeah, please check us out there. And if you're watching us there, please like and subscribe.
Yes, my friend. And if we're looking to follow you on social media, where are we going to find you?
On Twitter at that Canada guy, Instagram at that Canada dude, on Hive at that Canada guy, and on Mastodon at that Canada guy.
And Andre, also throughout the week, where else can we find you on other channels and shows?
Coming up soon, you're going to be able to find me on back on OLE with my good buddy Old Ed, where we're going to be doing Marvel Talk on the weekend. That it's going to be the 18th or the 19th. We'll be doing a live stream, and then the show will be up on the OLE YouTube page afterwards for you to check out. We'll be talking Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania.
finally been starting to hear things about this. I am so excited for this. And if you're wanting to follow a Melball, you can do it on Twitter at Collins Melball, and you can do that on Instagram, Facebook, and Mastodon at Melball Collins. You can also catch me on our Facebook fan page there, Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk. You can catch me on our local establishment every 2 weeks on my weekly bi-weekly episodic show Paramindful, where we talk all things spooky-ooky-ish with my good friend Alex and my good friend Carl Carafel. You can also catch me on Our Ladies Wrestling Showcase with the beautiful Astrid Pizarro every couple of weeks, where we discuss everything all women's wrestling and showcase the ladies. So, my friend Andre, do we have anything else to say to the beautiful people before we sign off here?
Thank you for tuning in.
Excellent. Nice sentiment, my friend. So, that being said, I am your Mel Ball. That over there is your Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.